totally doable. Yeah. I mean, I'm very happy with the end product, you know, and now we're on to, you know, the next, you know, but it's been a great experience.
Yeah. And it didn't take, you know, too much, you know, money, I should say, you know, because I mean, the recording of it we did for no money because, you know, no one was paying us to do it. We were just doing it because we wanted to do it. The only money we really spent was at the end, you know, we bought some better recording gear to do it, to sort of re-record it for the mixing process and mastering process. And then we spent a little bit of money on the mixing and mastering because we sent it off to somebody else that's their profession, you know, to mix and master. It's like, we didn't want to do that ourselves.
Is that the next? Should we get this show started?
Sure. Oh yeah. I thought we were started.
we haven't. I haven't done my formal introduction.
All right.
I mean, how about we just roll with that, and then I just do another introduction.
All right. Yeah. Cut it in.
Do that.
All right. Let's do that.
Talking again. Yeah. Welcome to the podcast. Might talk a little shit, get a little brash. Might drink a little bit, smoke a little bit. Vibe a little bit, laugh a little bit. Yeah. Hosted by Fidel. Tell it like it is, only tell it real. Live every Tuesday.
Oh shit, it wasn't recording. Or it stops. You know, for some dumb technical reason, like computers or something. Sometimes it just glitch and like, damn, that was a really good take. I'm not gonna redo it. It's not gonna be the same.
Yeah.
Do you think it ever does come out like with the original riff? No.
That's why even on this song, on the Impossible song, there's stuff I recorded on my phone, like with my guitar amps, and you know the phone's like, you know, whatever, 5 or 6 feet away recording it. And then I tried to recreate, like when we were going to release the single, I'm like, well, let me record everything like properly.
Yeah.
So some of the stuff was recorded properly, but the guitar solo stuff that's on there, I'm like, I can't capture that again. Like I tried, and I'm not even going to attempt after like the second or third time. Like it's just going to live that way. Like it sounds fine. No one's going to fucking know that it's a phone.
Yeah. That's what's amazing. It's really amazing when you tell people that, like, oh yeah, that was recorded on the phone. And I mean, people have made movies with their phones, you know what I mean? So it's like, you know, you can do it, but you don't really think that.
Well, you know what? I think you believe it, and you know, because they're telling you that they did it, but you're just like, you think there's more to it. Like, it's just like the after post is just insane, right? Which sometimes it's not. It's not that much. I mean, there is some that goes into it, obviously, but sometimes it's just like these apps make it really easy. Like, I have a Premiere Pro, right? Adobe Premiere Pro. But then they have all these apps on my phone that I can do the same thing.
Right.
There's times when I'm on a rush and I got to do it real quick. I do it on my phone.
Right.
I'd rather work on the desktop, but.
Well, but there's also the human element. Like we recorded the demo essentially of the song, and you know, when we got it to the point where we were really happy with it, it sounded great, and then we sent it off to get mixed and mastered, and. When it came back, I mean, it had to go through a couple of iterations, but when it came back, it was so crazy because I thought the version that we did was great. And then it came back and I was like, whoa, this sounds like it was recorded in a fucking studio, like in a studio, like, you know, with musicians and rooms and all this. It sounded so amazing. And I guess for me, just knowing that you can do that, you can do it with your phone, you know? It's crazy. It's nuts.
Yeah. And a lot of new artists, you know, obviously doing that. And you hear about, you know, I don't know, just an example of a contemporary artist, Billie Eilish, who recorded everything in their bedroom with her and her brother. It's like, that's crazy. She sold a gazillion records and she's super popular. It's like, all that wasn't recorded in a studio.
Yeah.
That was them in their room. And so it's like, you know, you don't need to spend a gazillion dollars, $1 million on a studio.
Yeah. Isn't that the scary part for like production companies like that are like, fuck, same thing with employers now that they know that like Lily, like she may not go back to work. She's been so productive at home that they may just be like, and I told her this from the very beginning. I go, this is a trial right now. All these employers are like, let's see if this is gonna work because we gotta get out of jail card, COVID, right? Let's see if this works. If it works, it's a new rule. They're gonna implement new styles, you know, and everybody's gonna be working from home now.
Save on their overhead.
Yeah.
You know,
same thing with these guys. Yeah.
Having a lot of money, you know, backing you and helping you get things done is helpful, you know, to be able to, you know, put out an album per se. You know, we're doing one song at a time. But it's not an impediment. Like you can totally make it happen. And so that was what one of our experiments really was, to put that one song out and see what that was like.
Yeah.
And it's totally doable.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm very happy with the end product, and now we're on to, the next, but it's been a great experience.
Yeah. And it didn't take, too much, money, I should say, because I mean, the recording of it we did for no money because, no one was paying us to do it. We were just doing it because we wanted to do it. Yeah. The only money we really spent was at the end, we bought some better recording gear to do it, to sort of re-record it for the mixing process and mastering process. And then we spent a little bit of money on the mixing and mastering because we sent it off to somebody else that's their profession,
right.
To mix and master. It's like, we didn't want to do that ourselves.
Is that the next? Should we get this show started?
Sure. Oh yeah.
I thought we were started.
we haven't. I haven't done my formal introduction.
All right.
Okay. How about we just roll with that, and then I just do another introduction.
All right. Yeah. Cut it in.
Let's do that.
All right. Let's do that.
We're gonna roll with that.
Because, dude, we could sit here and talk.
No.
Like, yeah.
You guys, again, I'm sorry I didn't introduce my guest earlier. I know it's gonna be weird, but it is what it is. This is Talking Again podcast. That's how we do it here. So this is Fidel Avendaño. This is the Tap. I'm here today with Julian, Ricardo, and Ralph Paredes. They are the only two members of the band called 13, or I should say 13 the band on Instagram. That way you guys make sure you guys follow and give them a follow. Right. On YouTube, is it also 13 the band, or is it just 13?
On YouTube, it's just 13.
There was a little. Remember, I sent you that screenshot. What's up
There's
with
a little.
that?
Well,
it's obviously not a very original concept or a name. So there's other
there's a little bit of a glitch. I've already put in for the fix on that.
Okay.
But yeah, because there are other artists that are out there that are calling themselves 13. There can be a little bit of a mix up. So that's what that is.
So that video that I saw on that dude there's a fella that has two videos that are nothing like yours.
Right.
That's just
he's our DJ.
Well, when you guys were talking about that, well, maybe he's the guy that mixed it and decided to put it on his YouTube channel.
I keep checking. Checking for the day that it's fixed, but they're gonna go in there, and that's one of the drawbacks of doing things online, that there's not like a person you can talk to.
Yeah.
So you got to submit your request, your ticket, and wait till they get to the point
to YouTube. Yeah, I'm sure they're kind of busy doing it.
Yeah,
I'm sure they're a little busy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bigger fish, I guess.
Well,
whatever. But yeah, so thanks for coming on, you guys.
Absolutely, thanks for having us.
I appreciate you guys making the time. I earlier on the tap room, I called you guys the COVID band,
right?
Because you guys were established during COVID season, because I feel that this is going to be another season like flu season, unfortunately.
Well, that might be true.
Yes,
that might happen.
Because you guys were established during that time, we were talking earlier that it gave you guys time to actually sit at home and do a lot of research, and not just let's just get into it and just start a band, and it's just you guys actually put a lot of thought into this. It wasn't just like, hey, let's just do it. Or was it? Or am I?
Well, it's a little bit of both. I mean, the actually us doing original music, because we've been playing together for 13 years.
Right. Yes.
We've been doing the Smiths Morrissey Tribute, which has been fantastic. I mean, it's been a really, really a joyful thing, because the people that we played for have just been so into it. But that stopped. So on a on a fun drunken Zoom call, Ralph threw out the idea of like, I said, what are we gonna do? You know what I mean? Like, who knows when we're gonna play again? And it is something that I enjoy doing so much. But we were like, well, and there's a little bit of I'm not sure. Ralph threw it out there. He just said, well, what about original stuff? And, I was like, yeah, sure. Whatever, I mean, I didn't discount it, but at the same time, I've never done anything like that.
Yeah.
So I didn't know what to think. And he sent me a track. He sent me a song that he'd written. I think it was a song he'd written a long time ago. And I just took a chance and wrote, lyrics for it. And it worked. Mm-hmm. So when it worked, we were like, oh, okay, well then let's try to do more.
Yeah.
And so yes, it did happen because of COVID, because we couldn't play. And the fact that he's in Covina and I'm in Hollywood, and we were kind of doing this remotely was fun. It was interesting. The creativity of it was great, because I'd never done that. And so, lo and behold, here we are, and we've released a single. And that was not something I had ever really thought about doing. So the fact that we did it during this crazy time was really cool.
the process of recording. So you guys weren't recording via Zoom. You guys were recording individual tracks that you mixed together, right?
Yeah,
correct.
So I would write all the music part of it, and
you composed everything, right?
Yeah, like guitars, bass guitar, acoustic guitars, drums, keyboards, whatever needed for the song. And then I would send him sometimes in pieces, like here's a little bit of it, like I'm still working on ideas.
Yeah.
But see if this inspires you to write something.
Yeah.
And then he'd send me a track back with vocals, and I'd drop it in. I'm like, oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah.
All right. Like now I'm inspired to do something else because I hear the vocals, and it's inspiring another instrument to it or another whatever the song I felt needed.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd add to some stuff and I'd send it back to him with his vocals, and he'd be like,
well, and that's the funny part.
This
about
doesn't even sound like. I was sort of like,
I was always
sending it to you, and then you send it back, and it sounds like a song.
Yeah.
Right.
And how did you do that?
Yeah.
How did you do that?
Know.
I mean, I would, because I again, never having been a songwriter or attempted to do that before. Every time I'd send him stuff, there was a part of me that was like, "Ooh, this is gonna suck.
Yeah.
Like he's gonna hate it."
Yeah.
And so I'd just send it off. I'd be brave, and there you go. And then he'd send it back, and it was a song, and I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
Like that worked. I don't know how that happened with me. I mean, obviously it's his music, so his music speaks to me, and then when I hear it, stuff just happens.
I was just gonna say that, like, for him to create some music and then you to kind of, complement it and with your vocals and your writing, that when it kind of works, and you kind of listening to it back and you're like, shit, that's actually
we're having the same reaction in different ways on either end. So it was very, I kept saying like it was a very Elton John, Bernie Taupin thing, the way, one would write the music and one would write the words. It just kind of, it really, really worked.
Yeah.
And the more we kept writing, the more stuff would come together, and we've just been rolling with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I never want to put limitations on something I'd sent him, like, well, don't sing at this part, or this is where the break is. I would just send it to him, like, do whatever you feel.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I think, okay, well, this is where the break is. And like, they're, in my head, I wouldn't think there would be vocals on there.
Mm-hmm.
But then he put a vocal track on that section, and I'm like, well, that sounds good. So
yeah,
fuck it, let's just
roll
with
kind
that.
It's kind of like a really good football team where you got the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator, and they just create this masterpiece of a team.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's been great. It's been a really, really cool thing to discover.
Yeah.
Especially for me. I mean, Ralph's been a musician forever, and I, he just threw the idea out, so I just went with it. So it's been kind of
and we were able to record and write really fast. So like if I'd send him a song, like within a day or two, we'd have a couple versions back and forth already. Like we were just super excited, and we'd just get inspired and just work it until it's done, and then we'd go to the next song, and it would just be the same cycle again. Like we'd be like mad scientists, like just recording at all hours in the middle of the night. I'd get an idea in the middle of the night. Okay, like first thing in the morning, I'm gonna go record this.
He would in the middle of the night. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'd be like 4 a.m. I'm recording a guitar part in my garage studio, and
like
I just send it off to him.
I'm 3 805s in already.
Well, maybe a little more.
Well, I'm 13 805s
in. He would. I mean, it's true, because a lot of the time, like if my brain is cooking that way, there would be times like where I'd be like wake up in the middle of the night and have a thought about a lyric, about something,
like
and you have to just write it down. You have to just write it down, and then I'll get to it when I get to it. But yeah, it's been really cool. I mean, having played together for so long, we clearly have like a musical relationship, but breaking into sort of like doing original stuff was just something really new.
Yeah.
And I just think it's been great.
Yeah, and I think having that history of not only playing together, but I've known him for such a long time as a friend, and very close to my family, is another reason I just feel super comfortable with him to like send him stuff, and he can send me back. It's like we're not going to judge each other. Like if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
It doesn't, right?
Even that first song, we were like, well, if nothing comes of it, then
nothing comes of it.
Whatever. It's not.
How does that feel, knowing that you don't have? Because you guys have never recorded anything and had like a production company, overseeing what you guys are recording, but knowing that and hearing other stories that people are, when you guys turn in material, they're like, no, do it again. You only when they are saying no. Well, it's just you guys. Like that means he's saying no, or he's saying I like it, or whatever. How does that feel, not having to answer to a bigger being?
That's just liberating,
power,
I think, to not
having full control.
To not have to be under someone's microscope. So.
Yeah, I mean, I've never had that experience, so I don't know what that's like. I mean, the way it works is really interesting, just because, like I said, I mean, I'm not a musician traditionally speaking. I mean, I don't play an instrument.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to the music, I really let Ralph just, do it. I'll give him, a note here or there if there's something that I hear, but mostly I guess I just kind of lay down vocals and say, okay, and I'll listen to it and decide whether or not I'm happy with that. But musically speaking, like the way the song sounds is really up to him.
Yeah.
And that just seems to work. Nice. So, yeah.
With going back to Strangeways, was there like the leader of the band? Was there a manager, someone that you guys had to like when you guys? Oh shit, this is gonna get good, huh?
Well,
we had this manager.
Well, no, it's that's funny. I mean,
I guess I was
you
by default.
By default, yeah. I mean, Ralph really
did. You start the band, the Strangeways?
Me and him started.
Oh, you both did. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Again, it was sort of an accident.
Yeah.
Waiting to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. He didn't challenge me or anything like that, but we were going to see Morrissey. He said, "Hey, I'll come over early. I'll bring my guitar. We'll do some songs." I'm like, "Sure, whatever," And then he brought over his guitar, and I was like, "Oh shit, he wasn't kidding.
Yeah.
We're gonna."
Mm-hmm.
So I started singing, and cut to a few months later, and we're playing a party, and then we're playing a club, and then we're 3 members, and then we're 5 members, and then we're playing for hundreds of people. So it just kind of, the evolution of that was really
right. Yeah, we didn't set out to do it necessarily.
Yeah, it wasn't something we planned.
It just happened.
Just have two guys having fun, and then later on it just snowballed into 13 years.
And then my brother got involved. We got him involved.
Right.
And he's not even a bass player, but he was a guitar player. And we asked him if he wanted to play bass on a couple songs by the Smiths. And he's like, yeah, I'm a big fan of the Smiths. Sure, let me know what songs you're going to play. And he came over to rehearse with us, and he knew like our whole set list already. He was like, I only gave you these songs a week ago. How did you figure these out?
Yeah.
On an instrument you're not.
Yeah.
It's not your instrument of choice. And he's like, well, I just figured it out.
Yeah. Nice.
I was like, all right, well, let's go through this next song. So
that was doing Strangeways initially, and it's still to some degree a bit nerve-wracking because Smiths fans and Morrissey fans are nuts.
Are they brutal?
Well, they have an expectation.
They're a little judgy.
They have an expectation, and as they should. They should have an expectation. I mean, because you can't do that. You can't do it and do it wrong. So you have to go out there and you have to do it right. And I can't tell you how many shows we would do. I remember specifically a show we did in Long Beach where after our set, a girl came up to me and she said, I came here to judge you. I came here to judge you. I came here ready to tear you guys apart. She goes, and it was so much fun. Like she had a great time. She goes, you guys were great. Nice. So we had a lot of really amazing responses to that. And it was just good because you want to make those people happy, and that's what I've missed about that experience, is just kind of putting that out there and getting it back. And, we've had stage crashers and, all kinds of like really like amazing.
Bunch of Morrissey groupies or what?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Just, it's funny.
And guess who's Morrissey?
Well,
in the scenario.
And these guys are hilarious. These guys are hilarious because once we're done and we're breaking down, they're breaking down and they're like, yeah. Because
he's taking pictures
and I'm taking pictures and take a picture or whatever. But it's
he's like, I have a band, right?
Well, right.
Yeah, they don't see us.
But
that's fine.
And they were like, fine, because we got all this stuff to break down. And that's the other thing is like all my equipment is just a microphone, and the drummer's got to break down his drums. And but I do miss I miss the camaraderie of that.
Julian's like, I'm ready to go, guys.
Well,
yeah.
No, hey, listen, I'll
he helps.
I'll load out the drums.
I think it's the guilt. He just feels guilty.
Yeah. Well, I do.
What can I help you with?
You know what I mean? Like here I am with my case and my microphone. But I miss the camaraderie of playing with the guys and all of that. It's been a long time.
Yeah, and it's an experience. Every show is something always
It's always something.
Always something happens. Yeah. So every show is just like an adventure. With these guys you're traveling with and doing shows with all the time.
Well, I mean, technically you guys were like on the road, right? When you guys travel and go to different shows.
Well,
it's kind of like
we know,
travel, but around Southern California, it'd be there's always an incident, there's always something fun, and just hanging out with the guys and
with
just
your mates.
we get there early, we sound check, and then we have like 5 hours to kill before we play.
Nice.
So
this is
that's
this.
when you guys start drinking, play some poker.
Well, no.
You guys do like
no, I certainly would.
He's very good and very
never
disciplined.
drink before a show.
Yeah, he'd always be super disciplined.
Yeah.
And do his warm ups and get some tea, get some water, rest.
Yeah.
Usually it's a nightclub at 80s nightclub, and we'd go on at midnight or something, so we'd have like literally 3 or 4 hours to just hang out. So we'd either get something to eat, just chill, and he's like, I can't be in a loud club talking to people because I'm gonna
lose my voice.
I'm gonna lose your
right.
voice
So I'd
before
have
even
to like
steps
hang
on
out in my
stage.
car if there wasn't a dressing room.
Yeah.
But this what's interesting and different obviously about what we've started with 13 is that it's just us, and we're not performing, which I'd really like to, but we got to get there,
right?
And so this has just been a process of creating versus just playing songs that already exist, which is fun and great because people know them and they sing with you and all that. But this putting out, I mean, I'm extremely proud of having a song out in the world that that we wrote, that's got our names on it. It's like our song. Like it's like, and I'd love to be able to play with our guys, and do that whenever we're allowed to do that again. Yeah.
So is the plan, obviously when you guys play live, you need the drums. So you guys are going to get yourself a drummer. Is it something where you're going to get on show basis? Like, is it going to be a permanent drummer, or are you guys going to, hey, we need one for this weekend? And how does that work as far as,
right? Well,
because right now it's a 2-person
there's
band.
no real firm sort of idea because there's no shining light that we're going to play any shows anytime soon. But the idea has always been, even when we were even recording some of this stuff, is like, let's get the guys involved.
Our guys.
Oh, okay.
Let's get George on drums, let's get John on guitar, let's get Brian on bass.
Yeah.
And let's record it. But we were just recording on such a fast pace that when we brought it up to them, we were already on to the next song. And on to the next one and on to the next one. So the idea would be, we would love to get them involved at that point, or even in the future, if there's more songs to be written, let's get them involved. They're all well accomplished musicians in their own right. So we all want to write together. That's even better.
Yeah, it's a new experience. It's a new thing for us to because we'd have to get together and play, and they'd have to learn the songs, and it's kind of just sort of creating a whole new thing with these guys that we know and we trust because they're great musicians. And so it's new in kind of creating a new band out of a band that already exists. Is that, if that makes sense?
No, it does.
Yeah. It's
like starting over,
It's like starting over.
A whole new fresh start.
So I mean that, and that's down the road, obviously, a ways for us to kind of get there. But if that happens, I'd be totally down, because cool. I think our songs could have a really great stage presence. Yeah.
Nice. Impossible.
Yeah.
That's the debut.
Yeah.
What was the whole idea behind that?
Honestly, there wasn't that's not the first song we wrote together, but it happened so fast. Ralph sent me the track like he would send me other ones. He'd like, oh, here's this one. See what you can do with this. And I clearly remember sitting on my couch at home, and the TV was on, but I was like, I want to listen to this. And the minute I heard it, I was like, okay. So I had a pad of paper, and I wrote the song sitting there listening to his track. It's like
the song was there, just waiting for him to write the lyrics
so
down.
it didn't come from previous writing. It just literally popped out of my body. And then I was like, okay, yeah, that feels right. So then it was the next day, I think I did my little recording booth at home and sent him the vocal. And it really was that fast. It was so fast. And the more we worked on it in terms of like getting all the parts of it right, it just felt like it was the first song. It felt like it was a really great debut.
Nice.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people, I've had a few artists that come in here, and they often revise a lot of the songs that they've written and recorded. They actually put them out there already into the universe, right? They put those songs out there, but then they still go back and revise it, add a couple words or whatever. Do you guys have any plans of doing that with any of the tracks? I mean, I know you only released one right now, but
right. Well, I think once you bring a live performance to it, then other ideas probably would come in. There's no plans to do that at this point. Yeah. But that's usually when things, I think,
sort of happen.
Yeah, it's like once you play them live, oh, you know what would be a good idea maybe to throw this in there, or do something.
What they call like
different.
A re-release, right?
Yes, re-release.
Yeah,
but there's no plans.
I mean, I really want people to hear this song. You know what I mean? I've had, because we released it and obviously we did our promotion to our people.
Yeah.
And I had several people go, it's an earworm. Like my one friend was like, I'm so mad at you because I can't get it out of my head. I kept repeating and kept repeating. And so really it's just like, I'd love people to just hear it, for what it is, for how it is, how it was created, where, this was, like I said, it just happened so fast that I think it just meant to be that way.
I know the first time I heard it, I definitely heard it like over and over and over again. Yeah. Like the hook, of course, right? Yeah. Impossible. Mm-hmm. But it's catchy. And I'm like, I'm not a big, music guy. Like I listen to podcasts all day long. Mm-hmm. So when I do listen to music, it's classic rock in the background while I'm doing something.
Right.
So when I heard this song, right away I thought Joey Ramone. I don't know if
in the vocals,
really? Yeah, I heard like Joey Ramone, and then I kind of heard like even with the music, right? Mm-hmm. Even that, like the beat, I was like, this is kind of like a punk. What are they called? Like that soft punk music, right? Where it's like not like so hardcore rock on, it's just but it's punk.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what it kind of like sounds like. What's the genre that we're going for here?
Well, God, is that the second time we had this question?
I think so.
Genre.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's sort of it's not a fair question at this point because all the other songs sound different in my point of view. Like some of the songs,
kind of still discovering it right now.
Yeah, because we're just influenced by so much.
We're influenced by a lot of different kinds of music and artists, and so I think each song kind of has its own identity, and so it would be hard to kind of give it a genre, that isn't true to from one song to the other. This, I think, Impossible to me just sounds like an indie, like pop rock song. You know what I mean? Like it's really rooted in rock, and then it's got a hook, and then it just like, it's just one of those, it just like, again, it just happened that way. I've heard people say, obviously there's hints of the Smiths in there. And I think having played the Smiths for so many years, it's undoubtedly going to have an influence on my style of singing. But this is just one song that has that, and then the other songs kind of have their own different influences. So genre wise, it's going to be really hard to pinpoint what kind of music we're putting out.
Well, I'll tell you, I sent out your guys' video to a few of my friends that are more like into musically inclined, let's just say, as far as to the ear. And all of them actually came back with that. It's Smiths Morrissey influence.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, again, this one for sure. The next one will be different.
Yeah,
it'll be different.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, it's I'm not gonna say anything now, but in terms of the way it sounds to me, it's a whole kind of different thing.
Yeah. How many songs do you guys actually have?
I think it's 8.
I think we have 8
songs.
Yeah,
you guys have about you guys have an album.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, traditionally an 8 record album, or 8 song album.
Yeah, it's a short album, but
yeah. Nice.
But yeah, if we put them all together, I think the next one, I think we're gonna the follow-up single, and then from there, I think we'll kind of see how we feel about maybe putting out a larger collection.
Yeah.
Maybe like an EP or something, maybe 3 or 4 songs.
But do you guys plan on doing this first album, or maybe like you said, like a small EP, 4 songs, doing the same format as far as recording style, or do you guys plan on recording live?
Yeah, they've all been recorded already.
Oh, you guys have already recorded?
Yeah, it's all recorded. It's just waiting to be mixed and mastered at this point. I think there's a couple small little tweaks on a couple little small things we need to do on a couple songs, but yeah, they've been done for a couple months now. For the most part, I think.
Yeah,
right?
For the most part. I mean, there's as we are revisiting each song for set of last looks. Yeah. It's not. There's not a lot that we have to do to them. We did write in a bit of a flurry.
Yeah.
It just, he kept sending me stuff and I kept writing and it just happened really fast. So yeah, it's just a matter of getting them to that point where we're comfortable and saying, okay, this is the next one. It's ready to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I know you said that you've only been doing music since Strangeways, right? So we're talking 13 years.
Right.
You've been a vocalist. But how long have you been or composing music or just garage band type of deal?
Jeez,
Let's go back to
30-something years or something since I was
high school
teenager.
Days? Yeah. Oh, wow.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I started on drums when I was a young kid, like 10 or 11. I started playing drums, and then I moved over to guitar, probably more in high school. I mean, there was always a guitar around. My brother played guitar.
Yeah.
So I picked it up from him and just learning stuff, and my friends were all in bands, and so that was a big influence as a teenager.
Yeah.
It's just always playing, you need to know how to play guitar,
yeah.
or you can't hang out with us or something, just, it was always there. There was always a guitar for me. I'm like, well, I may as well learn how to play something here.
Yeah.
It's right here. So yeah, at an early age, just always playing music.
Has it always been like your lifelong dream to like be in a band, record your original music?
I don't know if it was a lifelong dream. It was just always something that was there as far as just playing music, whether it was for myself or for, the people who are in the room, or, the different, smaller bands that I was in prior to Strangeways.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely the biggest audience that we've performed for. Once I joined, or once we created that band.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we played for like thousands of people at a time. So it was, it was exciting to do those. And I would be more nervous to play in the other bands, even though it was like maybe, 20, 50 people in a little bar or club. Whereas when we played with Strangeways, where there's, 500 people, 700 people, whatever it was.
Yeah.
I would never be nervous I don't know why. I think because I felt confident that he was going to perform, and it wasn't all eyes on me. And I just felt like the band had their shit together, where we're going to do a good show. We rehearse for it. We take it semi-serious, where we don't want to, fall on our ass on stage. So we would practice and, really study the stuff that we were going to go and perform. So I would never feel nervous playing the shows, just knowing that these guys were going to be there to back me up.
You don't think it has anything to do with like original music going back to like your old bands?
I think there was more of a microscope on us because we were performing these, I would call them iconic songs, that people knew every note. So if you play an original song and you mess up, a bridge or a chorus, no one's going to know that it wasn't meant to be that way.
Yeah.
But when you're playing music that was composed by another artist, I think there's more of like, hey, you didn't play that guitar solo right, or and I am guilty of that too. When I go see other tribute bands, I'm like, watching what they're doing, I'm like, oh, they're not playing it right. Like that's not even the right tuning. Like they're not even doing it right. Like I've just studied music for years, and even before we started Strangeways, I was playing these songs just to learn them and to practice them, and they're really hard. They're not easy songs sometimes to play, so it takes a lot of work and a lot of discipline just to figure out what he's playing. Johnny Marr, the guitar player with the Smiths, because he's a genius, and it's really hard. And I don't think I'm my goal is to get somewhat close to what he did, but by no means do I think it's perfect or exactly, because
But you say you're very comfortable when you're performing with Strangeways.
Yeah.
You seem like you're comfortable right now talking about 13. It seems you seem very relaxed and comfortable.
Yeah, I think that's just my persona.
Yeah, maybe.
To be a little more chill.
But how confident do you feel in the music with 13 now, with the songs that you've composed?
Oh yeah, I'm super excited about it. Like I said, like every song's their own thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm super comfortable and confident.
Can't wait to put them out there, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're all individual children. They all have their own personalities.
Yeah.
But to answer your question to him for myself is that, I mean, it would be a ridiculous lie to not say that, being a rock and roll star is a fucking dream. You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like, of course, like getting up on stage with these guys, doing Strangeways, these shows we're playing for hundreds and hundreds of people. It's like a little window into what it's like for these big, huge people filling arenas. And it's so amazing. It really is. But did I ever think that would happen? I never really thought about that. You know what I mean? It wasn't something I thought, oh, well, how am I going to do that? I'm not in a band. I'm not a singer. So the fact that we've done that is huge and amazing. And it's something, you can't really trade that. It's so cool. So to then now start writing songs with him and putting out our own original music, it's like, I think I could get behind the idea of playing our songs for hundreds and hundreds of people. That would be really cool. We'll see how it goes.
I've heard a lot of people compare performing live to hundreds and hundreds of people, somewhat of a high, right? That's why a lot of wrestlers, a lot of fighters, they find it hard to hang up their gloves, so to speak, right? Because that's the high that they get, that adrenaline.
Right.
For you guys that have now composed some music on your own, which high is better? Composing the music, creating the lyrics, putting it all together, or performing live?
Well, it's there. That's an interesting question. There's no comparison to playing live. Okay, that energy, that exchange between people is something that you just have to experience it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's so funny because I mean, we've done a lot of shows together, and he like at times he's like sawing that guitar in half. He's just killing it on stage, and I'm just standing there. I'm looking at him like, whoa.
Yeah.
It's just something that happens in live. You know what I mean? But creating these songs together has been really exciting because, like I said, like I'll send him my vocal track, and you know, part of me is like, oof, I don't know how that's gonna go over. And then when he sends these things back and it's a song and it's good, it's like, oh shit, we just did this. You know what I mean? We created a baby.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's cool. And so there's definitely an excitement about that.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't know that they're comparable.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
it's an excitement that's shared just between the two of us because for the most part, no one else is listening to these songs.
Yeah, no one's listening.
Except, you know, me with, you know, headphones and him, you know, in another part of the city, you know.
It's exciting.
Miles away, listen to it.
Since we released this song, it's been exciting to hear people's response to it. You know what I mean? And how they feel about it. But we're already now on to the next thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's like now it's out there, it's out in the world and whatever, however people, you know, receive it. It has been cool to get good responses. Yeah. Of course. But yeah, we're on to the next one.
With, you know, tribute bands is one of those like passionate things that you guys do because you guys love the music that you're playing. Mm-hmm. So this original content, there's more of like it's career based almost. Like, hey, I want to make this not a career, but like this is our stuff. I want to take it to the next level. What's the end goal here? I know that right now we're talking about putting an album out there, but is there going to be like an end goal to 13? Performing live, going world tours. So what are we talking here?
Yeah. Well, look. I
is it one of those? Let's just see where it goes.
I think we're creating music for the joy of creating music. Yeah. And if someone comes knocking on our door, we'd have to talk about it. You know what I mean? As people who, you know, have to do when taking on, you know, more. But I could certainly be open to anything that would happen. But I think really if there's a goal, I think it's really to just put music out and have people hear it, have people really like it, you know, and where it goes from there. I mean, because you can't plan that, you know, It's just one of those things that, you know, we were just talking about it before coming over. It's like, I want people to hear it because you never know who's hearing it. Right. You never know if somebody hears it, has an idea and says, hey, I'd really like to use this song, or hey, what else do you guys, you know what I mean? You just don't know. Yeah. You don't know. And it's funny because YouTube is one of those things where it's like, didn't Justin Bieber get discovered on YouTube? Oh, right. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a funny thing. You just don't know. Or what about Dreams? Didn't Dreams have a huge resurgence lately because of TikTok? Dreams is like 1975. Yeah. And now some kid on a skateboard heard it. And now all of a sudden
he's not a kid, but
well, you know what I'm saying? Like you just don't know who's hearing something and going, wow. And so that would be really great, but I don't know that you can plan for that. So all I think we're really doing is just creating songs that we really love and putting them out there and hoping other people love them, you know, and where it goes from there is anybody's guess.
Yeah. If we would have set out, you know, 13, 14 years now saying, hey, when we're going to start this band Strangeways, you know, in 10 years or whatever it's going to be, we're going to play, you know, at the Morrissey Smiths convention in Hollywood for 2,000 people. You know, we would have been setting ourselves up possibly to fail or to not do that. Yeah. So it just happened over time because we were, you know, constantly playing and people got to know us and, you know, had seen us and heard us perform. So, you know, we got picked to do that. So again, even with this band, like if you were told me a year ago, hey, where do you see, you know, your, you know, musically in a year, I wouldn't have said, well, we're going to be putting out a single or writing a bunch of songs with Julian here. Yeah. And like, that's the farthest thing from my mind. You know, right now we're just, you know, playing Strangeways shows, you know, and doing our other things that we do. Yeah.
I mean, I'd love it. I'd love to play. I'd like, especially with Impossible. I think the reason it the way it happened for me writing it is that it just feels like a performance song. It just feels like I can imagine myself on stage singing it and pointing at someone and going, "You're impossible." You know what I mean? Just because it just has this thing about it. So it definitely has it. So I'd love that, you know. I think because of the circumstances in the world and everything, I think we're just like really focused on writing and getting, you know, songs out. And then if and when the time comes for us to play them live, we'll tackle that. But we've been doing it for so long that I think we're comfortable in making that happen. Yeah.
Well, you know, you guys performing together, that's what makes it, you know, that's the magic, right? 13 years of work right there.
It's cool. I mean, listen, being okay, so without a doubt, as being the singer, it's like there's a lot of focus on you, right? But I always want to make sure when I'm up on stage that I like go over to my bandmates and like, so he's playing the guitar and I'm not singing, so I'm standing next to him, or I like our other guitar player John. He's so funny. He's kind of shy, and so he'd always like find the one dark corner of the stage and he'd like sink back. I'm like, get up front, dude, like come on, because we're all in this, you know. And so it's always about sharing that limelight with everybody, you know, on stage, because we're all doing it. I would love to take original music, like our original music, and kind of do the same thing. Yeah
That's pretty cool. Dude, I was just thinking right now as you were talking though, like performing 13 years of performing, the stories. Like,
we got every time we get together, we talk about. Remember that one show where, you know, something happened? There's always something that happens.
Give me a crazy random one that just comes to mind right now, Julian.
Well, for me, I think the one that stands out the most was a show we played in Santa Ana where we had a stage crasher, and this guy, you know, the Predator, you know, the Predator. You know how the Predator has those weird dreads?
The dreads, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, this is going to come as a shock, but I'm kind of a little guy. So I was so in the middle of singing and I just didn't see it. And that's what's crazy is as a performer, you're doing your thing. You're not kind of aware of what's happening. Yeah. This dude who was like, you know,
he's like 6'5"
just out of nowhere, like came up on the stage, like walked up and then just charged at me. And the next thing you know, I'm in the middle of singing and I'm wrapped in dreads. And he's like, he's completely wrapped me up and I'm like dreads. He's like yelling, but he's singing. But it's like, I just didn't know what the fuck happened. And I was trying to get him off of me. And these guys are playing and they're like, they didn't know what to do. And so finally, it's funny because it's on film. Somehow I got out from you
kind of spun him and then threw him into the audience.
Threw him back out into the audience. Like, it was weird how I got him from away from me and then threw him, like launched him. and he did, and he took a bunch of people out. I didn't mean to take, but I was like, dude, what are you doing? I'm in the middle of my show. That to me was probably one of the craziest moments of performing live. Because it just really was shocking, you know, for me. I don't know what
security. We're security.
Yeah, exactly. It's always for me the stuff that happens off stage or before we go on. That to me, it's always funny. Yeah, you know,
between the band.
Yeah, something that happens between the sound check and the performance. Usually, the performances, for the most part, go as scheduled. And as you know, one would expect. Yeah. That's all the other stuff. You know, they get into the show, or you know, some crazy person that jumps on stage, or some crazy drunk person who's talking to you and you're trying to get away from them, or
there's a lot of stuff. I mean, there's a lot of stuff.
Any weird pranks between the band?
No, we're not really so much of a prank.
No, we're not pranksters with each other. I think because we're with the Strangeways, with that specifically, because there's a lot of scrutiny, as I mentioned. You know, people are like,
right.
So we want to make sure that everything's legit. Like everybody's equipment is working right. Everything's and you know, even though we've done it for a long time, we're still like each time you got to make sure, because that one person will show up and go, this was wrong, or this blah blah blah. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I've flubbed lyrics. Nobody's really pointed them out, but I've done things where I messed up, or you know, I forgot to start singing. His favorite. his favorite.
Oh, that was early
we were
on.
doing a show. We were doing
it was
a
very
show,
early on.
and I got so into our show that I was like, God, I was kind of digging it, and I'm looking at Ralph, and Ralph's looking at me, and he's playing the guitar, and he's like, "What are you like?" The look in his eyes, like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh shit, I'm supposed to be singing right now."
You thought he was just hanging out.
He was all like dancing.
I was like,
getting
having
into
a good time, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm supposed to sing right now." Anyway, funny little things like
He's
that.
like, "When's the lead singer gonna come in here?" Oh, that's me.
It was early
you missed
on.
your cue.
It was early on. It was early on.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I mean, we've got a lot of stories like that. But yeah, this has just been. This is kind of a new thing, a new journey. I mean, certainly, Strangeways isn't over or anything like that. It's just that it's stopped for
Right.
the time
Yeah, we
being.
just put a pause on it for a minute.
So we've decided to take the time to we again somewhat accidentally decided to write music.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I'm a little excited, man. I can't wait to hear some more of that music, and then I've never seen Strangeways. You know, I never listened to Morrissey, so I can't say I'm a Morrissey fan or Smiths fan. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. I'm one of those Mexicans, right?
All right. That's why I'm saying it like that. I'm like, really?
Really?
Okay.
Yeah, one of those guys. But I like good music. So if I hear good music, I'm gonna listen to it.
Right.
But I can't wait to watch you guys live, man. Either when it's Strangeways, when you guys do a little reunion, or 1 year after the 1 year break,
Right.
or a year and a half, who knows how long this
2 year
is gonna
break,
be? Yeah, 2 years. Yeah, or 13.
Or
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Or maybe 13 opens for Strangeways.
Yeah,
That's
interesting.
Funny.
Yeah.
That's funny. That's
I
funny.
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's possible. We'll just wear a disguise.
Well, I don't know. I'm like, I can't. There's not a whole lot I can do with this, so it's just it's gonna be what it is.
Yeah. And when we talk about tribute bands, like sometimes people think, or a lot of bands do, dress like the artist, in that time capsule of time where, people just remember them as they were. And we don't do that. When we do Strangeways, it's just us.
It's just us.
I mean, to me, it's more the music than the look.
Yeah.
I'm not going to look like Johnny Marr ever. So why try to emulate that?
Yeah.
So,
and it's not gimmicky in that way. So we always just kind of like just did. I did do one show. Okay, it was a little douchebaggy, but I did do one show where I spoke in a British accent just one time because I said, okay, I'm just gonna do it just to be funny.
Well, at the time we were getting it was again early on, like in our Strangeways era, like the first couple of years.
Yeah.
He would do a show, and then somebody would talk to him after the show, and like, "You're not English?" And he's like, "No, I grew up in Covina." Like, what are you talking about? And he would tell me, like, "Yeah, these people think I'm, because I sing the Morrissey stuff that's more of an English-esque."
Well, I mean, he's British.
Yeah. And so people were like, "Wait a minute, you're not British? Like, you're not?"
I mean.
And he's like, "Maybe I should do that. I should work on my accent."
Well, I did it once, and that was it.
Another compliment we got recently. Well, not recently. It's been like over a year. We played a show, and I think it was our guitar player or drummer told us that somebody went up to him and said, "Are you guys lip singing?"
Oh, really?
Like, are you guys playing a CD?
Yeah.
And we were like, "No." Or I think it was after the show.
Yeah.
I think it was our drummer.
No.
Somebody said, "Yeah, I thought I told you." They were like, "Are you guys lip singing? Like, it looks like you guys are playing."
Yeah.
And he's like, "No, we're playing."
Yeah.
It's like, "Are you sure?" Yeah, we're sure. We're not lip singing. We're not Milli Vanilli or anything.
He's like, "Thank you very much."
We take a lot of pride in.
That's good. That's a compliment.
Yeah, and I was like, "I'll take that as a compliment."
Yeah.
And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I was just sort of like baffled that she said this to me." And it's like, I don't know.
We love doing that. I mean, we've and obviously doing it for as long as we have, it's like something we really love doing. And the evolution of this and writing original stuff is super exciting. The idea that we could maybe play original stuff sometime.
Yeah.
But building that base, building that up, you know what I mean, is something you have to work on. Whereas the Morrissey's thing is just built in. These people are like crazy and they just want to come in and they want to hear their favorite song. You know?
Yeah, it's not. I mean, I don't think for anybody, to think they're there to see us. They're not here to see us. They're here to hear their favorite song.
Relive moments.
Yeah.
Right,
so I don't ever take that, like, oh, all these people are here to see me. It's like, no, bullshit. Our egos are checked at the door. They're here to hear this music, and that's what we're gonna give them. We're gonna give them the music the best way we can.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, that's been the key, is that we always we wanted to make it sound like, not so much like we sound like the Smiths or Morrissey, but to give them as close to an experience to that as possible. Yeah. You know, to be able to relive their moment, you know, their favorite song and that whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Yeah.
Because you may not know this, but the Smiths broke up in 1987, so they haven't performed in a very long time. So most of these songs will never be performed live. So that was our sort of inspiration. Like, let's do songs that people are never going to hear live, and give them that experience in that way.
I think, you know, going, you know, you said that they're not here to see you, but I think some people probably are. There's some people that probably do follow you guys, because there's probably a lot. I'm sure you guys know more than I do. There's a lot of Morrissey cover bands or Smiths cover bands, right? Or tribute bands. So they're gonna select the certain ones that they want to go see, right?
Yeah.
They're
not
gonna
all
go
created
to
equal.
Yeah, I've heard of. Have you guys heard of the East Side Love Bar?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so they have like a Okie nights. They
used,
when they were open. Okay.
Yeah, we've been there.
So So then you guys performed there before with the Morrissey Okie?
We've performed there.
We did.
You've done.
I've done
karaoke.
I've done the karaoke, the Morrissey Okie.
Yeah.
I done it. I did it for a little while there. Quite fun.
Yeah, and we'd all just go and have a hang and
hang out.
He'd go and sing a song or something.
And somebody'd be like, "Oh, you're in Strangeways," and be like, "Yeah," or whatever.
Yeah,
you know,
we've met so many cool people throughout the years. I mean, you can't help but not.
Yeah.
To just meet,
especially when you're out there in LA performing out there all the time. You guys, hey,
yeah,
that's those guys over there.
Well, I mean, it's cool in the sense of going out there and being amongst the community who's coming to see you. You know what I mean? Like, they're coming to the shows, and so you kind of want to make sure that you're accessible. You know what I mean? And you know, engaging and that sort of thing. So I did that for a while. It was cool.
Yeah, nice. I have a friend that I told him about. I've been to the East Side Love, right? Just on a on a whim, we would just show up. But when I heard of, I wanted to go for the Selena Okie, right? Selena's, right? But I ended up not going. But I did learn of a Morrissey one. I told my buddy about it because he's a big fan, and he would go every other Thursday.
I think it's the first Thursday of the month.
Yeah, he would go every month just to go perform or try to put himself on the list to perform. But he loved it. He just But unfortunately, I never got to hear him. Always invited me every time he went, and we're talking about 2 years.
And it's a small little place. So
it's really tiny.
It's jam-packed. So it's cool. It's a cool place.
Cool little bar, but
yeah, it's so small. I mean, we were talking about maybe trying to do a show there, but the stage is so small. It's like, how can we?
I mean, it's for maybe max 2 people, right?
Right.
Yeah. Well,
I'm like, how are we gonna get our amplifiers?
And
with our
the
amps.
drum kit, and
right.
It'd be crazy. It's interesting though, because after having performed for so many years with the band, like, I'd done karaoke, just how you do it, and it's a really good idea the way they do Morrissey Okie, or there are other Okies, but after having played for so long with the band, when I'd get up to do the Morrissey Okie, it just didn't have the band, so it just didn't feel the same, so it was weird. I mean, still give it my best, but it just was kind of odd.
They probably give you like a sense of confidence when you have the band members behind you, though, right?
It just gives you feel it. You feel because it's happening and they're all playing. And again, it's total.
It's going back to that whole live performance, right?
It's energy.
That experience,
it's total energy. Like the band, the crowd, just everything kind of going back and forth.
Yeah. And we rehearse, a lot.
So,
to make sure the songs are where we want them to be before we perform them. Because if they're not, then we just won't play that particular song that night. But we've probably learned about 70, 80 songs of Morrissey and the Smiths throughout the 13 years that we've been playing.
Yeah.
A lot.
And at shows, you can only play maybe 15, maybe 10.
Yeah.
So, we try to rotate them out throughout the years. Yeah. And, some we've only played once live, or sometimes we learn them, we never get to play them.
Yeah.
But we learn them.
We really...
Part of the workout, though, right?
Learning
them all.
Oh, absolutely.
Being prepared for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of songs that we know that we've never played live, but it's kind of like bringing that experience and all of that, since we've just been playing, especially with these group of guys, that we all have this trust. So really putting these songs out, writing them, putting them out, and then the idea of performing these with these guys who we all kind of know and trust each other. That's super exciting. The idea of that. I mean, we'll see if we get there. But
that'd be pretty awesome, right?
Yeah. I mean, being in a band, you've always said being in a band's hard because it's managing 5 people's schedules, 5 people's personalities.
Yeah.
You know, there's been a rotating chair of drummers. We've had our drummer for about 8 years now or so.
Yeah.
And, you know, he's one of our, you know, very good friends. But before that, I mean, drummers are kind of crazy. Drummers are unreliable.
Yeah.
You know, drummers are.
They're the wild thing of
Yeah.
I mean,
you guys have had some experiences with some drummers, huh? That's a whole nother podcast.
It's like the Spinal Tap of
drummers. I mean, when you talk about stories, you know, there's stories of like, oh, the band stuff or whatever. Like, there's definitely stories. There's definitely stories to the drummers. Oh man.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah, that's a whole
Strangeways drummers.
That's a whole other podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, this incarnation, the incarnation that exists now of Strangeways and this group of guys really has been the most solid and the one that really, like, when we go, especially like our drummer now, like George, he when he first played with us at the very first show he played with us, literally we'd never played together.
Yeah.
We never met him.
We never met him. We were in a jam.
Found you guys on Craigslist or what?
No.
We were in a jam. Or I don't know what happened. Our drummer disappeared.
I'll tell you the story. But
and then so George rehearsed one time with Raul, his brother, and just the bass player. So it was just the drummer and the bass
John,
player.
our guitar player.
Oh, he did do.
It was the 3 of them. For some reason, we were in a jam. We had a show booked on a Friday. The Saturday before that show, we realized our drummer, who was with us for a few months or so, wasn't going to show up.
He just vanished.
He was just like, on his own trip,
doing drummer things.
Yeah, he was off on his own thing. So I'm like, he's not going to show up. I'm like, what's our backup plan? Do we cancel? Like, the show's already been announced.
Yeah.
I don't want to mess up my relationship with this promoter by canceling on him. A week out. So what do we do? Did we just do it without a drummer and just do like an acoustic thing? And he's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm like, well, I'm out of options. And thankfully our first original drummer knew George and said, besides me flying out there to play the show with you, the other thing is this guy, George, that I've been telling you about.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, give me his number. So I called him. I'm like, hey, George, I'm Ralph, Joe's friend. We're in a jam. We have a show this Friday.
Yeah.
It's all Smiths Morrissey Tribute Band. He goes, I love that music. I know it. Send me the set list and I'll do it.
Yeah.
If we can rehearse, obviously once, that would be great.
And of course.
And I was like, I can't do it. Like, my schedule is completely booked from here till Friday. But maybe tomorrow we can try to do something. And I called him. He couldn't do it. I'm like, I can't do it. I got obligations already. So my brother Raul on bass, John on guitar said, we'll meet you at the studio and see what happens.
Yeah.
So my brother calls me. He's like, he can do it. He knows what he's doing.
One time.
I was like, are you sure? He goes, we couldn't even get through a song because we need you to
they
do
couldn't
this.
Get through it.
You need your guitar to do that.
It has to
He's like, we
kind
of just jammed a little bit and he knows what he's doing. I'm like, all right. And then I would call George every day, like, hey, do you know this song? I would send him files, send him set list. Like,
at this point, you're like nervous. Is it gonna work? Is it?
Well, sure, kind of, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and never having played.
And then the nervous thing was we didn't know if our drummer was just gonna show up, our original drummer at the show, because I just haven't heard from him.
Why is he on my chair?
Yeah. I'm like, I don't even know if our guy's gonna even just show up because I haven't heard from him. He knows we have the show, but I don't trust that he's not gonna be there.
Right.
And I couldn't get a hold of him. I called him, voicemail full. I'm like, well, whatever. We just gotta move on.
Did you ever get a hold of the guy?
No.
No. So what happened with George?
We show up sound check. I'm like, is George even going to show up? Because he doesn't owe us anything. Like, he could just say, yeah, I got better plans to do on a Friday night.
Right.
But sure enough, he showed up at sound check, loaded his drums in. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. He's like, I'm having, let's go over this one song at sound check because the timing's a little funky on that one. I'm like, all right. I'm like, I'll just cue you for anything. I don't even think I looked back the entire show because I'm like, this guy's got it.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt so perfect.
Yeah.
Killed it.
Yeah.
He killed it.
Yeah. I was like, dude, it sounds perfect. Like, I talked to him after the show. I'm like, what are you doing after this?
Yeah.
He's like, well, I'm playing in another band, but I could do both bands if you need me to keep playing. He's like, it was fun. He's like, I enjoyed it. I'm like, well, let's keep doing it. We at that time, I don't know if we had another show booked, but I'm like, let's just keep talking. Let's keep rehearsing.
Yeah.
He's been with us ever
and
since.
yeah, he's been one of our really good friends since then.
Nice.
Got to know him really,
8
really
years.
well.
You guys,
I think it's been 8 years.
8 years. Damn.
Yeah, at least that. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, we'll we've got our boys, and we've got this new project, and we're just gonna see where this year takes us.
Yeah. That's dope. I can't wait, man. Like I said, I'm excited. Good to see what's next, man. Would you guys have any idea of when you're gonna come out with the next? I mean, this one's fresh. It just came out not even a month ago, right?
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I'd like to give this song, some time to breathe, and to get people to, listen to it. People watching your podcast,
of course,
and check it out, but I think we're excited to get another one out. So soon.
That's cool.
Yeah, we have them kind of ready. They just need to be mixed and mastered. And
there's no actual schedule of it. Just it'll happen when it happens.
Yeah, no, I think soon. I think we got to just discuss it a little bit more. We got to get on a schedule to do that. And during this year of no activity, he took it upon himself to learn a lot about music publishing, copywriting, distribution. Because I didn't know, and I still don't know a lot about it, but he's educated himself on how to do this properly. Yeah. Because a lot of people are like, oh, if you have music, just release it on SoundCloud or Bandcamp and put it on YouTube. Like it could be out there tomorrow. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I don't want to do that. I want to do this the right way. I want to put it out to where it's a legit thing.
Right. Right. It's important. I mean, you got to educate yourself on any business. Yeah. And the music business is really, really complicated. So there's definitely areas where I've learned a lot, but I don't know everything.
Right.
But the areas that I know where I'm like, okay, I know where I can hand this off or bring someone in to help with this kind of part of it. But it was important for me to make sure that the first one we put out, it was a little bit of a trial, a test to see what's involved.
Yeah.
But publishing is crazy. It's a big, huge monster.
Mm-hmm.
And there's so many different aspects to both, recording music and then publishing and composing and all this stuff. So yeah, it's a big monster.
Yeah.
But, again, just educate yourself, just.
I'm sure ownership has a lot to do with it too, right? Like owning your own music and everything.
Right. Yeah. So we're doing everything right now as a 50-50 split.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm doing the music. He's doing the lyrics and words.
Right. To your point, it's ownership. It's like establishing that we wrote it. This is our music.
Yeah.
And then so where it goes from there is like, okay, but we've already established who's the owner of it.
That's the foundation of it. That's where.
And and then once you get into things with like record deals and stuff like that, that's all contractual and what happens there. But doing things this way, we were discussing earlier about how technology has opened the door for a lot of people to be able to make films, to do things like podcasts, to make records. I mean, the technology exists for you to be able to do it.
Right.
So if you're going to do that, then take the time to figure out how to mark your territory, claim your product, know how to, if you're going to monetize it, how you're going to do that. It's all out there. You know what I mean? It's time consuming, but if you want to do it and do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, it's
do your research, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because, you never want to end up going like, oh, I wish I would have done that. I mean, I don't know everything, but I have taken the time to really like look into it.
So you would say it's definitely worth what you've researched and what you've learned.
Oh yeah, for sure. And there's still more to learn about it, but I think I'm comfortable having released one song and done it the way we did it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There
you go. I'll tell you, I was super excited when I was able to post your story. And when I hit music and then I typed in 13 Impossible, it came up.
Yeah.
I was like,
there it is. Right there. Right, yeah.
That's when you know you made it.
Well, but that's it's super.
But no, it was. I was like, hey, look, man, this is out there. It's pretty cool. And I only did it on a whim. I'm like, it's not. They just put it out. There's no way that. Well, it is. It's out there.
Yeah,
and that's pretty cool. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if that meant anything to you, but for me,
absolutely.
That's so cool.
No, listen, that's exactly what I'm saying.
When I saw it on Spotify, the first day it came out, I was like, holy crap. I can't believe
it's my music.
Yeah. I woke up super early that day and I went to my computer. I'm like, let me see if it's out there.
And there it is.
I'm like, shit, you did it, dude.
It's cool. We did it. We really did. I mean,
but you took it to that level. I would have just, written it and recorded it and just
put it on SoundCloud.
Sat on my laptop
on YouTube.
And not listen,
have nobody hear it. Once it's out there, you lose a little bit of control. You lose a little bit of, you have to just let it let it live in the world, but it's out there, and it's got our names on it, and you know, it is something we created and it didn't exist before. So it lives in the world with all these other people who've made music, you know what I mean, from the little ones to the big ones, and I feel like I'm part of it now.
Nice.
Like really part of it. So it's cool.
There you go. That's just the start of something big, I think. Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see. Yeah.
Can you close out the show in a British accent? No, I'm kidding. No. I'm joking. I wouldn't do that to you. I'll do it though. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I can't. Imagine me trying to do it.
Yeah.
No way. I can't even speak English. What are you talking about? You want me to speak British? No. But you guys, really, truly do thank you guys for giving me the time and all me, you know, sharing you guys' stories. So
absolutely.
That's awesome.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah. It's been good.
All right, there you go, you guys. We just tapped into it. This is Julian, Ralph, 13. You guys check them out. 13, the band on Instagram. That's it. We're having adios. I don't know why I said we're having it, but adios.
We're having it.
All right, we're having it.
We're having it. That's gonna be my new tagline.
Hashtag.
We're having it.
We're having it.
Yeah, we're having it. Cool.
Take care.
Bye.
Hosted by Fidel. Tell it like it is, only tell it real. Live every Tuesday, you know the deal. We talking again. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. You now tuned in to the tap in. We talking again.